West Africa and has played a key role in building businesses and championing change from Sierra Leone to Lagos. And also, beyond the boardroom, Mr. Rushewe serves as boards of organizations making real impact, including Free Recycle, Ron Gas Prime Industries, and Balako Initiative, which supports the girl child. Please join me with a warm round of applause as we welcome the man behind the sage great vision, Mr. Temitope Rushewe. A round of applause, please.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I assumed I was tall, but it's occurred to me that it's better from this height. So maybe first to apologize for starting a bit late. We hope to start earlier, but I think the rains and something Lagos happened. Um, but here we are. So thank you for coming up. So distinguished guests, esteemed partners and stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and privilege to welcome you all to Advancing Impact Stage Way Forward. This event marks a secure milestone for us at Stage Finance Limited. Your presence today reflects our shared commitment to harnessing finance as a force for sustainable development and inclusive growth. As we reflect on our journey, I'm reminded of the values and aspirations that inspire the founding of Sage Finance. At our core, we have always believed that finance must serve a higher purpose. It must go beyond the pursuit of profit. This belief has led to the vision statement, which is to be the leading impact finance company in Africa, and our mission statement, which is to create impact through financial services. These guidance statements have shaped our journey and informed every decision we make and have made so far. Our approach has been guided by three fundamental convictions. The first is there cannot be sustainable commercial viability without the accommodation of the impact. The second is the impact and financial returns are not mutually exclusive. The third conviction is the greater the impact achieved, the higher the potential for commercial returns. These convictions have driven us to challenge conventional wisdom and reframe the narrative around finance. We have discovered that when impact is treated as an integral part of design and strategy rather than a compliance checkbox or the marketing add-on, it unlocks new sources of value and enhances resilience. As an organization, we are driven by these convictions. We have gained three invaluable insights that continue to shape our approach. Firstly, we realized that providing financial solutions for impact ventures demand more than simply adapting existing product structures. It requires bespoke pricing models that reflect both the developmental and core aspirations of projects and the commercial realities. Secondly, eligible prospects, especially early stage enterprises, often need financing with tailored funding structures such as sculpted interest schedules and sculpted payments, giving them runway to stabilize and generate sustainable cash flow. While the moratorium may be applied for financial obligations, the timelines for measurement of impact should be treated differently, and we should insist on them being immediately measurable. Finally, most importantly, we learned that the true measure of success cannot be confined to financial returns alone. It must encompass tangible social and economic change we seek to create. These include jobs sustained, communities uplifted, and environmental benefits realized. By embedding predefined key performance indicators such as emission reduction targets for climate linked projects or job creation metrics for others into every financial agreement, we ensure accountability for achieving broader developmental outcomes for ourselves, for our partners, and the communities served. Through our investment in enterprises such as Free Recycle, which is a pioneer integrated recycling manufacturing company, and SPL Turbo, which is a clean energy focused explanation. We have demonstrated the power of finance to drive job creation and inclusive economic growth while addressing environmental challenges. Our investment in technology through Secure Technologies have demonstrated that technology can be used as a tool to drive measurable impact while generating excellent returns for all stakeholders. These experiences have reinforced our core belief that impact and commercial success are complementary objectives that strengthen each other rather than mutually exclusive or opposing forces. We have developed and continue to develop innovative impact finance programs that reflect our commitment. One of such examples is a recent partnership with Bank of Industry. Through this collaboration, we are now able to provide affordable financing at 9% per annum, which significantly reduces the overall borrowing cost for our clients, particularly during the developmental phase. This is especially crucial for SMEs within the first year of the operation, a period where access to affordable finance can determine their ability to scale, survive, and to even deliver impact. This initiative, alongside others, have shown how tailored accessible finance can serve as a catalyst for long-term growth and impact. Later on in this program, we'll also be unveiling a suite of new strategic initiatives aimed at expanding our reach, empowering underserved groups, and strengthening Nigerian SME ecosystem. This event is not only an opportunity to celebrate what we've achieved together, but also a forum to create avenues for collaboration, forge partnerships, and collectively envision the future of impact finance in Africa. Thank you all for your unwavering support and shared ambition to drive progress. Together, let us advance impact the stage way and redefine the future of finance in Africa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Please, one more time, a round of applause for the developing of stage-grade finance. Thank you so much, sir, for that opening address. And so it is time now for one of the highlights of today's event, which is the keynote address. And our speaker is a true leader in sustainability and circular economy, not just in Nigeria, but on the global stage. And she is the executive director of the Circular Economy Innovation Partnerships in Lagos, working to shape a future where business and the environment go hand in hand. With experience now designing leadership programs for top companies like Shell, HSBC, and AstraZeneca, and of course, academic roles in Singapore, Amsterdam, the UK, she brings a wealth of knowledge, insight, and passion. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming with a warm round of applause Dr. Natalie Vainicic as she delivers keynote address. Please keep your hands together.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to be here. And I have to say, it's the first time I've been invited by a financial institution. I used to work in financial institutions on sustainability, but it's the first time working as an expert in circular economy to be invited by a financial institution to talk about the circular economy and to have this invitation from a Nigerian organization, a Nigerian founded organization, I think speaks a lot, speaks volumes about the intent and the focus of Sage Grey. So it's really a pleasure to be here on so many levels. Thank you. So my speaking brief was to talk about driving circular economy through strategic investment. So I will try and stay on point. But I suspect that many of you may not know what circular economy is or have some questions about why it even matters. So I'll start with that. So circular economy, it's a concept that originates really in hyper consumer markets and societies out of a concern that really current models of consumption are too environmentally destructive. So a fundamental view of circular economy approaches is that economic growth should be achieved through practices that make better use of materials. So through repair, remanufacturing, reuse, and recycling of materials, rather than the consumption and disposal of materials that we're so used to now in modern markets. However, in economies like Nigeria, these practices, reuse practices, repair practices, um, they're really well embedded in economic life. And then rates of consumption are furthermore lower than in many developed economies. So why would we even think that circular economy is attractive in a Nigerian context when really growth is most important? Um, and I would argue there's three reasons for this. So first, circular economy approaches, they're growth oriented. So they help us look at new ways to generate value and create markets, by extension of that, skills and jobs. And these are the most important priorities, I would argue, in a Nigerian context. Second, it's an innovation oriented approach. So this again is an approach that's incredibly useful in equipping people with tools to navigate modern life, where problem solving is really an essential skill. Finally, it helps us think about waste management in novel ways. While in Nigeria, overconsumption may not be a problem relative to developed economies, it's often the case that in Nigeria, the way that materials are disposed of are not only unsafe, uh, but there's also value in the waste that is not yet fully realized. So there's scope to realize that value, there's scope to create value. And I think Free Recycle, which has been mentioned already, is a portfolio of Sage Gray. And it's a great case in point of how it's built a business case around safe recovery and recycling of used tires. And so I hope I've made the case now to drive the circular economy. So the next question then, and the topic of this session is how to do so through strategic investment. And this is not such an easy question to answer, but there are some truths about the viability of circular business models. And sticking to the rule of threes, I would share three truths in particular. So, firstly, many circular business models are not scalable. They're not competitive with virgin materials, or they take a significant amount of time to commercialize. So there's issues such as the quality and the consistency of feedstock for many businesses. There's issues around logistics, cost of investing in equipment and infrastructure when these business models are not yet proven. And these all play a role in the investability. Second, as someone much wiser than me has argued, many markets for circular business models are artificial. So, in other words, they're created through subsidies, through taxes, or other regulatory requirements that are not necessarily based on pure market need. Although, personally, I would argue there's very few pure markets in the Adam Smith sense of the word that really exist. And then thirdly, and linked to this second point, circular business models depend on strong market linkages with a price for materials. So in other words, there needs to be people willing to buy and sell waste materials in a stable way for trade to happen. And this can be quite difficult. So one example is Tetra Pak, which is considered to be very, very highly recyclable, one of the most recyclable kinds of packaging globally. However, in Nigeria, the offtake doesn't really exist, so there is not a market for it locally, and therefore no market value. So then, moving to the strategic investment, I would personally argue for three actions. And the first one, I think harder for Sage Gray to achieve, but the deeper investment into research and development. And again, this is, I think, also not just difficult for Sage Gray, but difficult in the market broadly. Never the, never, Nevertheless, I think it's a really critical tool in terms of creating value for local markets or any market. And exploring how to make better use of public and private R&D spend is really essential for mobilizing circular economy and broader innovation in Nigeria. Two, deeper engagement with government on market creation tools. So we think of tools such as extended producer responsibility, where producers pay fees to collect and create the value for waste, as being a critical regulatory tool. But we need to look beyond this, and we need a more coordinated effort on issues such as ease of doing business, supporting innovation, and developing functional carbon markets that provide benefits to the small businesses that drive Nigeria's economy. These are key priorities in my view. And then, thirdly and finally, uh, more attention by investors to circular business models, really focusing on the viability of these models and producing the evidence in the public around where they are not. It's this type of attention that helps to produce better evidence that leads to a more productive discussion, both in the market but also in an investor level, about the designing financial products that can really fit the market. And I just maybe would end on the point that it was really to read the material published by CHJ, we see how this organization has really created products to fit this market and to address the needs of the SME business, the SMEs and other kinds of organizations who really desperately need that access to capital. So more of that is going to help, and we're really excited to be on this journey with Sage Grey. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, one more time, a round of applause for Dr. That really makes the difference. Thank you so much, madam. So now it's time for us to, well, pause, kind of reflect on the journey so far Sage Grey has taken. So Sage Grey's story, we know, is one of purpose, one of partnerships, and of course, real impact. And we understand from bold beginnings to milestones that matter, every step Sage Grey has taken has been driven by clear vision to make the difference where it truly counts. Now, to bring that story to life, we'd like to share a short film, quite short, that captures Sage Grey's values, work, and the lives touched along the way. So kindly sit back and enjoy our impact journey.
That affects the environmental and social well-being of the nation and its people.
Sustainability.
Financing with intention of ensuring sustainable development of the environment.
In the heart of Nigeria's bustling financial epicenter, amidst the towering skyscrapers of Victoria Island City, Lagos, Nigeria, the story of resilience and transformation unfolds. Sage Grey Finance Limited is widely renowned for its steadfast commitment to impact financing and the creation of sustainable value through its array of services. However, it is interesting to emphasize that this dedication has been ingrained within the corporate framework of Sage Grey Finance Limited since its inception in 2016, when it operated under the name Sage Grey Limited. Our journey began with a vision to redefine financial services, to create an institution grounded in sustainable impact, driven by innovation, and committed to empowering individuals and businesses alike. As we embarked on this venture in 2016, we had little foresight of the extraordinary journey that lay ahead of us. In a short span, Sage Finance has not just weathered the storm, but has tried to establish itself as a prominent player in the financial arena. Today, the gradual reflect on the milestones achieved, the challenges overcome, and the trust instilled in us, our clients and partners.
In 2016, we started operations under the banner of Sage Grey Limited, which was founded as a nexus for advisory, finance solutions, and investments. Our primary objective was twofold: to draw investments into Nigeria and to offer international grade services to Nigeria by Nigerians. Concurrently, we aim to foster local opportunities while enticing international partners through bespoke solutions, particularly in financial services. Our strategy embraced a multifaceted approach encompassing project development, investment, and strategic collaborations through impact financing. With bankable projects, we secured funding, include direct investment from State Grid Limited. In major instances, we served as the bridge for international funding, creating value for all stakeholders. We also worked extensively with our Nigerian clients, providing market support for them within the regulatory and operational landscape.
Within the initial 2 years of our operations as State Grid, our strategic approach to investing in fixed income market and under money market instruments yielded substantial results. We engineered a robust foundation that ensures sustainable long-term financial growth, not only for the company, but also for our stakeholders. We also set precedents that fueled the expansion of businesses for our clients through our tailored credit structures, propelling them into new realms of success. During this fundamental period, our focus transcended mere milestones. It was about establishing precedents for the future of sustainable impact financing.
As one of the early staff members of Sage Limited, it was profoundly fulfilling to be part of the company's growth journey. Our focus extended beyond mere recruitment as we developed strategies to attract and retain top talent, ensuring our team reflected the diverse range of perspectives and experiences. We dedicated ourselves to shaping a workplace culture rooted in inclusivity and excellence. This was evident as we had a higher proportion of female employees compared to the counterparts. Our focus on driving operational efficiency and effectiveness was also paramount as we ensured compliance and regulatory requirements governing impact financing and implemented rigorous internal controls in our activities, which bolstered stakeholders' trust in our commitment to ethical practices and creating valued impact in their respective businesses. Mr. Omutayo Banjo, the non-executive director at SageGray Finance Limited, provides insights into the company's operational strategy concerning impact financing. Mr. Banjo serves as the chairman of the Board Finance, Investment and Risk Management Committee and is also the chairman of the company's Board Credit Committee.
Impact financing is integral to every financial transaction undertaken by Secret Finance Limited, whether it involves simple lending or complex investment. It ensures that all projects and investment activities are meticulously structured and measured to achieve tangible social and environmental impact. Impact financing is a core strategy of our company. We prioritize investment that generate both financial returns and meaningful social or environmental impact. For example, we provide loans to sustainable energy and waste recycling projects that reduce carbon emissions and promote clean energy adoption. By financing these projects, we not only generate financial returns for our investors, but also support the transition to a low carbon economy and mitigate climate change. Sacred Finance has a board approved impact financing framework, which recommends the strategy of the company towards financing businesses, projects, or initiatives, provided that there's a clear line of sight that it will generate positive social and environmental outcomes alongside financial returns.
The Nigerian financial industry holds a fundamental position in driving the country's economic growth, fostering investment opportunities, and facilitating development. Comprising a diverse range of institutions including banks, insurance companies, investment firms, and microfinance institutions, Nigeria's financial sector operates as a dynamic and multi-layered ecosystem. However, despite its vibrancy, the Nigerian financial industry grapples with several challenges, including limited access to finance for SEMEs, inadequate infrastructure, regulatory constraints, environmental degradation, and economic volatility, to mention a few. In response to these challenges, there has been a growing recognition of the importance of impact financing, a practice that channels capital into ventures, generating positive social and environmental outcomes alongside financial returns. Recognizing the potential of impact financing to address these challenges, Sage Gray Limited embraced the adoption of impact financing since its formative years with the aim of meeting its evolving clients' needs and regulatory standards while playing a transformative role in shaping a more equitable society. motivated to expand its impact on a broader scale and incorporate environmental, social, and governance (ESG) principles into its operations. Sage Grey Limited embarked on a resolute quest. This journey aimed to not only promote impact financing more extensively, but also to embed sustainability and responsible governance into every facet of the company's practices. In accordance with the comprehensive strategy of the company, it became increasingly apparent that our trajectory needed to evolve, encompassing a wider spectrum of objectives. Central to our growth was the recognition of the critical importance of integrating environmental, social, and governance (ESG) considerations into every facet of operations. This broader focus aimed not only to enhance our sustainability practice, but also to align our activities more closely with the principles of responsible business conduct. Transitioning into a regulated entity is a strategic decision to enable us to connect with a larger vision to position ourselves not only for financial success, but also as a force for positive change within the industry and society at large. Determined to seek more ways in the promotion of impact financing on a larger scale and integrate environmental, social, and governance considerations into its practices, the company took a significant step forward by becoming a regulated company licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Since obtaining a license, we have remained steadfast in our commitment to making a sustainable impact through our investments in various sectors such as manufacturing, sustainable energy, and oil and gas, amongst others. We have worked on a plethora of projects, some of which we have made direct investments in to drive impact across the operations within key sectors, such as waste recycling industry, that's with Recycle Limited, sustainable energy, SP Togo, SME businesses, women empowerment, that's MOSEP, and technology, that's the new technologies, and alternative coal evacuation, that's unexpected. However, we've observed that women and youth hold significant potential to make a greater societal impact, but often encounter limited financial support and business resources. Beyond financing, we assist them in nurturing their ideas, developing essential documents such as concept plans, business plans, investment pitch books, and proposals to secure funding from us and from other third-party financing partners. A notable success story in our women and youth empowerment sector is Mosep Enterprise, which significantly boosted inventory and sales revenue through our impactful SME overdraft products. Dr. Antipola serves as the chairman of the Board Governance and Nomination Committee.
I would say corporate governance plays a crucial role in implementing, ensuring that companies uphold ethical standards, accountability, and transparency. For instance, this fosters and promotes trust among investors, stakeholders, and the broader community. And in the context of impact financing, and effective corporate governance practices are essential for safeguarding the integrity of investment and for positive social, economic, and environmental outcomes. Secret Finance Limited recognizes the significance of corporate governance in impact financing and promotes ethical and responsible investments. As Secret Finance Limited, corporate governance serves as the foundation for responsible decision making and sustainable business practices. Corporate governance framework is designed to promote accountability, integrity, and compliance with regulatory requirements. And this includes establishing clear roles and responsibilities, and maintaining effective oversight mechanisms, and promoting a culture of ethical behavior throughout the organization. Our commitment to impact financing extends to the board and the senior management team. At the board level, the Governance and Nomination Committee, which I currently have the privilege of chairing, has the responsibility to oversee all impact initiatives, periodically evaluate impact performance, review our impact strategy, and provide guidance on how we can enhance impact efforts. So one of the key ways in which impact financing intersects with corporate governance is through our commitment to transparency and accountability. Also, we prioritize stakeholder engagement and dialogue as part of our corporate governance framework. Technology, especially our online banking platform, It's crucial to our impact financing efforts. It helps us manage transactions efficiently, follow regulations, and reach more people, even in remote areas, through online and mobile banking. This promotes financial inclusion and empowers communities economically. For us, technology is an integral part of our operations, which enables us to innovate and improve efficiency across the organization. We leverage cutting edge technology across all platforms, from our core banking applications and through other channels, to deliver superior services and products to our clients, automate processes, and enhance decision making capabilities. We offer a range of technology driven products and solutions designed to meet the evolving needs of our customers. These include, but are not limited to, our digital and online banking solutions. We have also commenced the process of integrating with InterSwitch for the issuance of our debit cards to customers as an additional channel of access to their funds. Our tech solutions have innovative features, scalability, and robust security measures to ensure client satisfaction and competitive advantage.
Meanwhile, the company's advisory functions serve as the guiding light, offering strategic insights and expertise to steer its endeavors towards optimal outcomes. From a financial perspective, we approach each project or investment strategically to ensure optimal use of resources and maximize returns. We carefully assess the potential risks and rewards associated with each project and prioritize those that offer the greatest potential for long-term sustainable impact and value creation. We try to maximize the value of our innovation efforts and deliver sustainable profitability for Stately Finance. Following the dynamic landscape of project development and advisory, attention to legal compliance becomes key, as it not only protects the company's interests, but ensures that every endeavor aligns seamlessly with legal requirements and industry best practices.
So internal audit is a critical component of our risk management strategy. We conduct regular audits to assess the effectiveness of our internal controls, identify areas of non-compliance or operational inefficiencies, and make recommendations for improvements. Recently, CBN passed a regulation that required us to update our customer onboarding process to enhance anti-money laundering controls. We conducted a thorough review of our existing procedures, implemented necessary changes, and provided training to relevant staff to ensure compliance. Due diligence plays a critical role in our business operations. Before embarking on any new projects or investments, we conduct thorough due diligence to assess the potential legal, regulatory, and financial risks. We also try to identify any legal barriers or restrictions that may impact the feasibility or legality of the project and develop strategies to address them proactively. We also prioritize data privacy and security considerations. We are compliant with the requirements of the Nigerian data protection laws and regulations, which is paramount to maintaining trust with our clients and safeguarding their sensitive information. We also collaborate with external partners to ensure that contractual agreements adequately address legal and intellectual property rights, confidentiality obligations, and liability considerations. Over the years, the company has encountered its fair share of challenges, and in response to the economy's ever changing market dynamics and evolving client needs, we have embraced innovation and agility, pivoted our strategies, and diversified our service offerings.
Looking ahead, Century Finance is poised for significant growth and impact in the financial industry. We are committed to enhancing our marketing communications, strengthening our brand, and increasing our visibility to showcase our unique identity as an impact-focused finance company. One of our notable achievements lies in providing co-investments to focus sectors, including sustainable energy, manufacturing, SMEs, technology, and initiatives promoting women and youth empowerment. We utilize key impact metrics such as business creation, employment generation, and reduction in carbon emissions to gauge the true impact of our investments. We broadly utilize the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to measure our impact. Success for us at Sedgwick Finance Limited transcends mere numerical metrics. It is embodied in the tangible impact of our actions. We take pride in the fact that our operations are consistently translated into substantial positive changes, particularly in the projects that we've invested in. Looking ahead, Sedgwick Finance is poised for significant growth and impact in the financial industry. We are committed to enhancing our marketing communications, strengthening our brand, and increasing our visibility to showcase our unique identity as an impact-focused finance company. In line with this commitment, we have ambitious plans to expand our lending activities, particularly in the SME sector. We aim to significantly increase our SME lending and focus on women and youth businesses. Additionally, we will focus on international funding opportunities to support SMEs, women, and youth. To achieve these goals, we are establishing dedicated funding desks, strengthening our international partnerships, and expanding our business operations with the creation of additional branches, including in Abuja and other strategic locations. We also recognize the importance of leveraging technology to drive efficiency and innovation. We are investing in technology and IT platforms to enhance collections and digital lending capabilities. We will keep enhancing our investment in our staff and welfare of all our stakeholders, as well as further strengthening our governance, regulatory compliance, and operational structures to meet the current and future requirements of the operating environment. Sedgwick Finance is embarking on an exciting journey of growth, innovation, and impact with a clear strategic focus and dedicated team. I'm confident that we will achieve our objective and continue to make a meaningful difference in the financial landscape. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to a bright future ahead.
We can do better. Round of applause one more time for stage grade 5. So now we know who we are at Stage Grade Finance, our values, our work, and the lives we've touched along the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the next segment of today's event, which is our stakeholders panel discussion. And this session is designed to be interactive, insightful, and of course, thought provoking. So, we'll be hearing directly from key individuals who bring experience, perspectives, and of course, shared commitments to driving meaningful impact. Well, there will be time, I would say, for questions and comments. So please feel free now to note your questions as we go along. Now, to lead the conversation, we have, let me quickly invite Elizabeth Musa, a broadcast journalist and video content lead at Business Day Media. She's known for telling stories that matter, and today she will be helping us to dive right into this exciting discussion. Please put your hands together as I call on Elizabeth.
Good morning, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elizabeth Musa, as Esther has mentioned. Thank you so much for coming and for being here. So this panel's conversation is very important. It's all about driving impact financing opportunities in Africa. Why is this conversation very important? In the past decade, what we've seen is Africa has seen a surge in interest from global and local investors who are actually looking to align their financial returns with measurable impact and for social and environmental impact. And we've moved from having a niche strategy to a more mainstream investment approach. And this shift has been driven a very key reason why this shift has been driven is by the rise of social enterprises, increasing awareness of climate and development issues, and the growing recognition that traditional aid models alone cannot achieve the sustainable development goals. And that's why we're here today to have this conversation with key stakeholders. We hope that this panel will provide us with solutions and with answers to the questions of how to and drive more impact opportunities for Africa. So I'll be calling my panelists today in no particular order as they come. Please sustain their applause till they get on stage. I'll be starting with an accomplished executive and the strategic leader in climate change and sustainable development, currently serving as the special advisor on climate change and circular economy to the governor of Lagos State. As we know, Lagos is Africa's fastest growing megacity, and the OCCE is committed to fostering sustainable development across Lagos through innovative climate finance solutions and strategic partnerships that drive green economic growth and sustainable improved climate resilience. And I'll be welcoming for the panel Miss Titi Oshodi. She is the special advisor for climate change and circular economy. Please explain your approach to the topic. Thank you. Next on this panel is a serial entrepreneur and a visionary leader at the forefront of Nigeria's energy and logistics sector. She is the Group Chief Executive Officer of Direct Waters Petroleum and Logistics Limited, which is a reputable player in Nigeria's oil and maritime industry, and also the Managing Director of Selai Gas Station Limited, which is a fast growing liquefied petroleum gas retail brand. She has successfully led the company's diversification into the domestic gas market, birthing Selai Gas, which is a brand that's committed to making clean, affordable energy accessible to underserved communities. It's important to note that during the 2020 pandemic, she spearheaded a social energy initiative through Selai Gas, targeting low income households, especially women in suburban Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Damilola Olabi Oshimito. Thank you very much. And next on this panel is the Chief Impact Officer at the Bank of Industry with over 15 years in development finance and public policy. He has led major initiatives in SME growth, financial inclusion, and sustainable development. He's a Harvard trained expert and has held key roles at KPMG and the United Nations, and is also committed to driving inclusive economic impact across Nigeria. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Dr. Uchechukwu Uwachuku. Please sustain the applause for the comfort. Thank you very much. And next on our panel is a partner in BDO Professional Services and is bringing over 16 years of extensive experience to his role. He's renowned for his expertise in audits, IFRS financial reporting, internal control over financial reporting, ICFR, and taxation, and is widely recognized as a leading professional in this field. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Mr. Ajibola Falola, is the risk management Indio Professional Services. Thank you very much. And last but certainly not the least is our Executive Director at Sage Grey Finance Limited. He is a seasoned professional with over 17 years of experience in the banking industry. Started his early career as a domestic operations officer in Zenith Bank in 2006 and rose to the position of IT audit at Zenith Bank. He is responsible for the company's IT audit services and provides compliance and security advices to clients. He also holds a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting and MBA, entrepreneurship and small business management from Babcock University. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, sadly to know Akiba, the Executive Director of Sage Grey Finance Limited. I had to call that again to be sure that I got pronunciation. Welcome to the panel. Thank you so much. Right. So I'm going to start by welcome you all once again. Thank you so much for being here, and it's great to be doing this for us today. So my first question will be going. Um, I'm trying to see who I'll go with. Just give me a moment. So I'll be taking my first question to. Let me ask Miss Damilola Molabi Kushinusi. So my first question will be going to you. So when we talk about driving impact financing in Africa, what's your experience when we talk about risk and compliance in driving impact financing in Africa? How are reporting and auditing practices evolving to enhance transparency and credibility impact investors? Right.
Thank you very much for this question and my warm appreciations to praise him for this opportunity to be here and also to share my thoughts on impact finance. So I want to speak on impact financing as it relates to me as an entrepreneur in Nigeria, particularly being a female business owner. Nigeria has a very complex financial system, I just see. And a lot of times you are at events and conferences, government institutions are like, there is so much funding available. You need to tap into it. Madam is smiling, it's like she can relate. The funding is there, no one is taking it. So 2020 was declared the decade of gas, and that was when we diversified our business into the LPG space. So the then minister declared it the decade of gas and said they were focused on gas projects and they were going to be investing in gas projects. We were all excited and lots of businesses started. My business is a classical example that started as a result of that declaration from the then minister. And looking back, going to financial government institutional fundings, where we're told that women-led businesses had a particular quota for 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 access into this kind of funding. And on getting to those institutions, you hear a totally different thing. We're focused on impact towards clean energy, clean cooking. So those of you in the clean cooking space, come and you will be attended. On getting there, you're being asked, do you have a contract with an IOC? Do you have a contract with ExxonMobil? And I'm like, there is no proper understanding of even what this funding that is created for. There is no proper understanding of what um, the um, the beneficiaries of these funds would need to be able to access the fund. So we had a stakeholders forum and we were told that you needed to have a contract from an IOC to be able to access this fund. So we realized that this institutional funding that was declared accessible for women in businesses in the LPG space, in the renewable energy space, there was no proper understanding as to how this fund was going to be utilized. And as such, we were stuck. So for a business owner like me that I put in so much investment into setting up this business during the pandemic, we were stuck because we were promised that there was a huge amount of fund available for expansion of our business, and we ticked all the boxes, but we couldn't access this fund. So, in my own interpretation of impact financing, that did not create any impact to me as a business person in Nigeria. That did not create any impact because that fund, as we speak, is still sitting there. At the last stakeholders conference, that he was still said, this fund is there, nobody is taking the fund. It's just obvious that there was no proper clarity as to how beneficiaries would access this fund. So impact financing, in my understanding, is a way whereby you create a fund to speak to the impact, as it is stated, of that environment, the community, and the region. Classical example is the clean energy um, space, right? Whereby funds are available for people that are running businesses in the clean energy space, not people that not people that are running fossil fuel kind of business. Clean energy is focused in for that kind of funding, whereby people that are into renewable energies, people that are into CNG, cooking gas, and what have you. But this kind of funds are not easily accessed. But thank God for companies like Sage Grey that were able to come to our rescue. I'm sure by the next time I'm asked to speak, I want to speak my great story because I thought I was going to see myself on that screen. Mr. Boy, see myself. St. Grey came to our rescue. Thankfully, if not, the dream and where we are today won't have been achievable if not for great for the
you very much. Speaking of your sage grey story, I'll just come to Mr. Atiba and ask you the question. The first question I asked was supposed to be for Mr. Ajibola. So I'll come back to you on that question, but I'll come to you now, Mr. Atiba. Now, can you tell us just very quickly over the years how impact financing has improved the company's outlook and some of the challenges that you have faced and how you've been able to provide a solution?
Okay, thank you so much. So, impact financing for us is a way of life at Sage Grey, and it has really tremendously improved our image. Like what she was talking about, we have been able to interpret and align properly what our impact goals are with the beneficiaries' goals also. So for us, because we're keen on ensuring that when we say we are doing impact financing, the beneficiaries of this impact financing would get what we're talking about, and the economy would also be impacted. The environment would also be impacted because both for us and the beneficiaries, we have roles to play. So when we're doing financing, impact financing, we ensure that we move our beneficiaries from where they are currently, if they are not totally aligned with the benefits of impact, to through a journey that would ensure that they would align their practices, their processes towards creating the impact expected. So I would say it's given us a very, very, very good outlook, and it's improved even access to funding and the outlook of our company, both locally and internationally. As for the challenges that we have faced, it's not unusual, like she mentioned. The adoption for certain people has been a bit difficult because when you're used to certain practices and you're told, look, you have to go through a journey of transforming your processes to align and make sure that the benefits of the impact are seen in the environment and also in your own economy. A lot of people do not really get that. But we've worked with our partners, our beneficiaries, and we've seen proper value. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atiba. Can I give him a round of applause for that rescue? Back to you to ask how you do measure impact because it's one thing to talk about this impact and now then how do we measure this impact? But then let me come to you, Mrs. Titi Live Oshodi. Now, what we know is in your capacity as the special advisor to Lagos State, is Lagos State implementing any specific policies or interventions to attract impact, attract impact investment, and also tell us what outputs or benefits that the state expects from this?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for another opportunity to come and share. It's even more profound that we're learning a lot more about organizations like SAGE. And even more profound that we're at that time where we're beginning to talk about financing and impact financing at best. So for us in Lagos, and especially in our office, climate change and circular economy, we're very definitive about the framework towards investment. And that's because the argument of the economic benefit to be able to drive environmental sustainability cannot be undermined. Um, for us to be able to get people to transition away from the linear economy into a circular economy, there has to be incentives. And so our tenets around measuring impact from an ESG perspective is really, really very important. The projects that we have been able to simulate, and I use the word simulate because um, from what we have gathered thus far on this seat, there is a gap, there's a gaping dysfunction in the knowledgeability, in the literacy, in the education of measuring impact, even in the education of drawing the rubric metric for accessing funds in itself. So on one end, there's a linear side to banks where they look at investment from the way it's normally done, the linear style, and not understanding that there are it's a it's a risk management, there's a risk management function to this investment for impact investment. And that it's not a one size blanket solution and it's a long, patient one for that matter. So when we start to simulate projects, we help financial institutions to understand that there are tenets for measuring and there are tenets for capturing the necessary insights that make businesses or make projects investable. So we had one that was called the Leave No One Behind, which is essentially driving investment to the underserved community. But we were also very intentional and deliberate about the social development component that would be instituted in it. So it was the Girls Correctional Facility. We needed to institute the principle of circular economy into it. We needed to help them see the modeling of waste to clean energy in it. We also helped them to see how you can repurpose waste that comes, which is essentially helping the communities to see that there is a value that can be captured or that can be gained for every type of waste that is generated in a home. So these are tenets that are from the understanding of an ESG framework. And that's where we continue to see that there must be intense level of literacy, advocacy, and education from the whole tier, from the household to the private sector, the big boys, to the nano micro SMEs, to the government. Everybody needs to be able to capture the understanding of their role in the contribution of ESG because that's where the green climate and the sustainable economy is derived from. That is what helps with the designing of a report that makes a business investable. So the government is doing a lot in establishing training. We have platforms that is called EcoNexus, and that is deliberately designed for private sector organizations, their sustainable development desks and their unit to understand from design, from their budget booking, from projections, from their forecasting, they can begin to infuse the tenets of social inclusivity, ethical practices, environmental sustainability, and within the organization and within the community in which they are domiciled. So that is one of the very strong pillars that we work with. And of course, like I said again, because you need to also tack on the financial aspect of it, commerce cannot be reduced. So we ensure that we're driving as much partnership, collaboration, interrelativity, interdependencies within the nano, micro, and the medium-sized corporations. We have what we call the Eco Business Network. Free is one of our members, and we have also been able to establish that sort of interaction and exchange so that these young businesses can begin to be more mindful about how they capture their impact from that ESG. I'm not going to go before that. Let me not take on my next.
Thank you very much for that. Please put your hands together for her. Now let me come to you, Dr. Nwachukwu. Let's talk about Bank of Industry and your initiatives. We know that you have initiatives such as the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program and the Solar Energy Program as well. And we know that it demonstrates the commitment to fostering impact driven development across sectors. But in your own experience, what specific metrics do you use to measure the impact of your investment? And how are you encouraging other stakeholders to adopt similar approaches?
Thank you very much. Just a quick background. BOI is a development finance institution. And for those that may wonder, what's the difference between BOI and going to commercial bank to get loan? I mean, commercial bank, as much as they might like your business, if they give you 100 million, what they want is their interest, are they able to get the 30 million after a year, which is about 30%. A development finance institution, our whole ethos is around impact. And we keep hearing impact finance, impact finance. What's impact finance we think about? I mean, before between 2008 financial crisis, there was not too much talk about impact financing, and in as much as there was ethical financing and other stuff like that, the impact financing really came to the fore because what caused the financial crisis was almost a complete collapse of financial markets in different countries, driven by the so-called commercial banks. They are overzealousness for profit, manufacturing money out of nothing. Yeah. So when you're talking about impact finance, there are three things that are key. One is intentionality. So if you are giving money, there must be that intention that you begin to see that there's an impact that it's creating. Yeah. Second one is additionality, which is the value add. What value are you adding? The last one is measurability, which is what you're asking me of now. How do we measure our impact? So for most organizations, what I will say is that you start the process of measuring your impact from what your company set out to do in the first place. At POI, our mission is to spearhead sustainable industrial development of Nigeria by offering bespoke services, specifically financing high impact businesses and underserved communities. So having that in mind, first applying the IMMR framework, which is first you have to be able to identify which indicators to measure, then measure, monitor, and report. So you already have what you are looking at. If you want to drive sustainable industrial development, first you're already talking about industrial development with an industrial bank. So we need to have industrialization indicators we need to track. Then we also are trying to finance high impact businesses. So it's economic growth indicator. You also have a way to track it. Then in there we mention sustainability, which is about ESG, what we're talking about. So you need to have sustainability indicators. And finally, we talk about underserved, which speaks to social impact. So at BOI, we have our development impact framework and it's rooted in these four key measurement indicators: economic impact, social impact, industrialization, and sustainability. Now, when you have that in mind, it becomes easier for you to be able to track based on any person you are doing financing. So at the beginning, when you come to access finance at BOI, we have a form that if you will call it anticipated development results report. So you tell us if we give you this money, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to create 100 additional jobs, which speaks to some sort of social impact? Are you going to increase your productivity, which speaks to some sort of economic growth? Are you going to have backward linkage with the MSMEs in the sector, which speaks to industrialization? Are you going to be reducing your carbon footprint if what we finance is for you to build something like a more sustainable equipment, which speaks to sustainability? So these are some of the ways we're able to measure. And at that point, we noticed at the beginning, then quarterly, the monitoring projects are report and compare between what you said you will do and what you are doing every quarter. And when your project is coming to midterm or maturity, we also investigate to see if the intentions of why we gave the money at the beginning have been met.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together. So now I'm finally with you now. Let me talk to you, Mr. Falola, about the work that you do. So, in your experience in risk and compliance, how are reporting and auditing practices evolving to embrace more transparency and credibility in impact investing?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I think having had my colleagues on what will happen and then we come to reporting. I want to talk from the angle of Financial Reporting Council. We are all aware now that there are two standards speaking to sustainability and climate-related disclosures. We have IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. Apparently, the standard became effective 1st January 2024. But for us in Nigeria, Financial Reporting Council has considered three phases just to ensure that people are ready and they are prepared for it. We have early adopters. Early adopters are people that want to implement that standard, that is S1 and S2, during 2024. For such, it's expected that they have put in the framework and preparation to by 31 December 2023, which means that in 2024, they'll be able to report on this impact financing. Then we have voluntary adopters. For voluntary adopters, they are to consider between 2024 and 2027. So what that means is that between 2024 and 2027, they need to do their preparatory work. They need to, like Madam mentioned the other time, literacy. You need to be aware, of what's involved. They will now have mandatory implementation. By January 1, 2028, everybody is expected. Uh, when I say everybody, I mean public interest entity and SMEs. By 2028, they are expected to report using this standard S1 and S2. Now, when we talk about this, like my colleagues have mentioned, you talk about measuring, you are talking about structural reporting. So there will be a paradigm shift from impact now. We have also now moved to reporting. And we have to talk about transparency. When the company says it has done one, two, three, four, then to ensure transparency, you need to do your reporting in line with the standard. Not only that, external auditors are also expected to come and check what you said you have done using the standard. So with that, we can see that transparency is brought about, credibility is brought about, because it's not enough for you to say, I have done one, two, three, I have paid attention to underserved community, I have created jobs and all of that. There must be evidence and such must be supported, with evidence. So auditors will come around, they will do review what you have done, and then they will be able to certify, to the whole world that what you said you have done is actually what you have done. So that process brings about transparency and credibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Falola. So let me come to you now, Ms. Damilola. So when I started off, I came to you. Question was meant for you. So now I'm bringing your question for you. What are some of the ways that impact financing, investing has helped you in your business in ways that traditional financing would have not?
Thank you very much. Earlier on, I mentioned that I have a sage brain story, which is as a business owner, you identify an opportunity. And as an entrepreneur, you run with the idea, you want to set up, you want to create jobs, amongst other things, you want to make an impact. And accessing funding is a lot of headache. So upon our commissioning, we needed to expand, like we needed working capital. And we had a lot of commercial banks that I've already seen a track record of what we're doing in our other businesses. But to come on board this new business, it was a bit of a challenge. And I also think they didn't understand the nitty gritty of this business. So 20% of households in Nigeria use cooking gas, right? That's to show that there is a huge opportunity. There's a huge business opportunity, and with the required funding, businesses like ours can expand and can make good returns even to the investors as well. So Segre came on board with investments to our business, which helps us to be able to secure a truck. Because upon, please a round of applause for Segre. Because it's very, very emotional and personal to me because at the time of our commissioning and we set up, we didn't have, we were reliant on third party service provider. So what that meant is the owner of the truck, if he wakes up in the morning and doesn't like the pace, so our businesses would suffer, right? And we had also a huge gap in the in terms of deliveries to the end users of our products. So Segway coming on board, they understood our business, they understood the impact that our business was going to create, and they were able to invest in that. Now, what impact has he made? He helped us in acquiring the truck. He helped us to acquire fleets of delivery vans to be able to deliver to the end users. He helped us also creating jobs because we created jobs for the truck driver, the drivers of those vans, and other parts of our businesses that we didn't have the capacity in terms of funding capacity to be able to explore. This funding opportunity helped us to be able to expand beyond that reach. And beyond that, it brought um, a great, um, I would like to call it a sense of stability in our business, whereby making us look good before prospects that will come on board our business. In specific terms, what that did for us was there was a strong governance structure that was in our businesses. You know, a lot of Nigerian businesses, why I think they are not bankable is because it's just a one-man business. Mr. and Mrs. running their business, and the banks are not sure if we invest in this, what would happen? You know, their books are not clean enough, and there is no proper records of what this business is about. So that introduced a strong governance structure into our business, corporate governance into our business. That was also a great thing did. We were bringing that. So I just said that after 6 months into commissioning our business, when we were called to speak about the growth, because our business experienced an exponential growth within 6 months of commission. And when it was and when it was time for us to speak about our business to other stakeholders in the LPG space, it was a warm welcome and it was a tremendous experience for us because a lot of them saw that there is a proper structure in this business and there is that's clear goal of what we want to achieve. So impact in our business that Sedgwick brought is beyond words. Like it has really helped us to go from 5 to 100 within a period of 3 years. And because of that 3 years in the month of April. Areas where we can expand and bring cooking gas closer to the indigent communities at an affordable price. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's have to deserve a round of applause for stage three. Just get up for stage three. And then it brings me back to you, Mr. Atiba. It was very lovely to hear a story and a sage three story. I did ask earlier that I'll come back to you on how you measure impact. I think that's one of the ways you measure impact. But do you want to shed more light to us on how you are able to measure impact at Sage Green Finance?
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for the good words and kind words. But that's what we do at SageMaker. For measuring impact from the highest level, our board, we have an approved policy that speaks to impact finance. We have a framework that was developed with the sign off of the board. So that means that every part of that implementation of the framework is already governed properly. But I would say in developing that framework, we used the likes of the SDGs and then the ESG requirements. And those are the things we measure from the point of assessment of a business for financing. Those are the things we look at. What is your business model? What do you do? What area, what impact box would you tick? And where do we want to get you to? Where are you currently in your business as it concerns environmental improvement and whatnot? So once we check all of that, we identify that as part of assessment. When we make financing available to you, we also monitor to see that the roadmap that we have drawn out with it. And also we report all of that to our board because I mean the source is from the board. So we have a report that we give back to the board that says for financing that we've done over this period, this and this and these are the impact values that we have derived from them as a summary of the measurement that we do.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Axibari. So I'll come to you now, Mrs. Titi Oshodi. From a government perspective, can you tell us some of the ways in which impact financing, some of the challenges that we have across Africa when it comes to impact financing, and how you think that different stakeholders can work together to address some of the obstacles that we face?
Thank you very much. It's needless to mention the fact that access to capital is a huge aspect for us to be able to front load space to be able to scale and optimize. So at the OCC, having discovered and realized that that is usually the bane of the bottleneck for these businesses, we then decided let's start to play with the numbers because we have quite a number of young businesses that are green and sustainably linked, and they're also beginning to build themselves. But because there's been a lot of silo working within the industry, so just putting them together into a body. I mentioned the EBN, the Economic Business Network, has given us the opportunity to be the ability to be able to leverage blended finance frameworks so that in our facilitations with the financial institutions, we can go back and present them on a cooperative basis to be able to drive the level of mechanisms and the operations that they need in their businesses. So one of these, because these are very, very young businesses, they're small, but they have very high impact venture. So the scalable structure is what will essentially help them, to provide from their own, from the commercial pillar that we have instituted within the office. We also, have the policies. We develop policy frameworks that are not necessarily from an institutional perspective because, like I said again, it's a very novel area, it's a novel industry. We're still working within an open market framework. But as a government, we're able to speak to financial institutions, and there are about two or three of them who sort of have an idea of how they can measure, how they can verify and report their ESG indicators, and also using them under the EPR mechanism to develop pipelines that can provide budgetary allocations for our businesses. And for some of the areas that we have simulated, we've done about 6 different locations where there are very high volume of waste, a high volume of footfalls, like the trade fair in what's that area? Trade fair, somewhere in Badagry, yeah, like trade fair. We did one project, we ran one project in Badagry. We've been to faith-based organizations because we understand what nuance is as a risk factor for this sort of impact investment framework. So culture, nuance, tradition is also a very, very strong factor to take into that plan. So the numbers have helped us to be able to to be able to measure what you can get in terms of volume, what sort of catalytic investments can be drawn, from that space. And we can also help establish the risk mechanisms on a large scale basis. One of the ones that I'm quite very proud about that we have just been able to achieve with the Ministry of Cooperatives, and thankfully somebody from BOI is here, is the Lagos State Accelerator SME LASMECO. It's the Lagos State Accelerator Access to Finance for SME, and that was launched about a week or two ago. And it is actually a low interest catalytic investment fund. It's actually a non-collateral loan at about 9% interest rate. Now, even at the launch in itself, what we found is that you have businesses that are needing as low as 50,000 naira for their collection, recycling, or even renewable energy business. And so, through that cooperative mechanism and the fact that we can also have that direct interface with those people in the location, in the communities that they're situated, the needs analysis process that help us to be able to fine tune the solution that is adaptable for them to be resilient, with their financing, and also to be socially impactful for the businesses. Very, very minimal. And so opportunities like what we have done with the POI as one of the we want to scale across board, across various local government areas in the state. We also want to be able to ensure that their reporting is intentional, as we've said, because there is a regenerative finance aspect to it. When we're able to capture the essence or the right SDG points, within what they do, it gives it a lot more weight. The reporting gives it a lot more weight that can be delivered and submitted for carbon asset management. It's a gradual thing, but we feel very strongly that when we are able to hold these SMEs, guiding them with the support of the big boys, the private sector, we can entrench the right climate sustainable behavior within the communities. We can also inherently help households also to be able to see where they can get economic benefit, even by the mundane activity of waste management, circular economy practices within their homes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Titi Oshodi. Please put your hands together for her for that. Thank you for highlighting some of the things that you've done with the Bank of Industry. And that brings me to Dr. Nwachukwu. Among some of the programs that you've embarked on, which of these have been the most significant, in your opinions? Which of them have yielded the most significant result? And also, how can people who are also trying to seek access, individuals, organizations, what are some of the eligibility and the requirements and all of that?
Thank you very much. I would say actually our MSME programs, because at POI we finance projects at almost every level in nano, micro, medium, and large enterprises. But we've got a lot of impact from our MSME programs. For instance, in the last 10 years, we have directly impacted almost 5 million businesses. We've created cumulatively about 40, 50 million jobs, and we've disbursed more than 2 trillion to this particular sector. And what it does is that we find out that for large enterprises, when you, for the most time, when you give them money, they buy equipment, which is good. They build capacity. But most time for MSMEs, when you give them money, they hire. And there is a lot, much more that happens down the line for in terms of not just direct jobs, but indirect jobs that are created as well. Because for more people you hire, you give them salary, they're able to buy the more, and whatever they're doing goes down to the value chain. And that's why we pay particular attention to our MSME. We have offices in almost every state in the country currently, and we also drive almost all federal government MSME financing. In the past, about the cheap. Then we have programs currently like the FG Nano for currently going on, which is a grant of 50,000 naira to almost every applicant that shows up. Federal government committed 50 billion to that. And we have the 75 billion MSME fund for the federal government again. And we have the 75 billion manufacturing fund. That's just from the federal government, not even realized from. So we are implementing federal government MSME projects. Within our own, we are also implementing our own MSME projects. So I think within the bank, was in fact programs surrounded around the MSME finance.
All right, thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Dr. Nwachukwu. So then I'll come to you and then we'll come to the audience for questions. I hope you have your questions written down. We'll just take a few questions. So I'll come to you. From your professional experience, are there some, perhaps some, strategies that you think always aids more impact when it comes to impact investing for companies?
Okay. What I have seen that is consistent is that organizations they have a purpose, a mission, why they are existing, and who they are out there to serve. And when that is in place, like we talked about intentionality, they are not only intentional about bringing that change, they also consider that, when we talk about investments, impact investing or impact financing, we are not keen about financial returns. We consider social and economic returns. So while you are generating your revenue, for example, fintech, that takes into consideration financial inclusion, trying to reach the underbanked or the underserved or underserved communities. They are currently making revenue, they are generating revenue, but at the same time, they are creating, they are solving societal problems. So that is a strategy, that is consistent. And then one can also see that brings about valuation because when you have a purpose and you align your purpose with profitability, definitely it will lead to valuation because impact investors they are interested in organizations that we have these objectives take into their models. So definitely for organizations that have taken this into consideration in their strategies, they are not only going to meet their purpose of being in business, it's also going to enhance the valuation of such companies. I think that's what I would like to say.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Falola. And now please put your hands together for my brilliant panelists. So this is the time where you get to ask your questions. Please put your hands up if you have any question. Make it very brief. Just your name and straight to your question. No parts in, no parts in. Just one question, please. And then if you want to direct it to somebody, please let us know as well. So my name is Elizabeth. My question is this, and this question is for this person. So any questions? Okay, we have one person there. We can have at least 4 questions. Okay. All right. 1, 2. Is there anyone who can help the microphone? Thank you. There's a woman at the back was last week. Yes. Woman at the back was last week.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you, panelists. I think my comment question would be directed to Dr. Nwachukwu, and it goes like this. I would have loved a situation whereby there was like a central bank representative on the panel, but I'm sure you can answer this. So, that was lovely the comment about being told that there was a loan, and when they got there, they couldn't access that loan. It wasn't there. So for me, that was quite heart wrenching. So what are the policies or strategies that are in place, to mitigate such happening or such events where you be told that there's access to loan and then you get there and you don't find anything until today the loans are still there, but it's not accessible to anybody. So for me, that is quite unfortunate. So I want to ask you, sir. Thank you very much.
Go ahead and answer the question.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, was a BOI, but I would assume what happened, what happens in BOI also, which we try to address, is that most of these institutions, they have uh, what they refer to as their risk acceptance criteria. And when they're designing programs, probably maybe just bank-wide or institution-wide, they already have it. That before you access any financing, you have to have this, you have to do this, you have to do that. And unfortunately, when they're designing the program, they get approval maybe from federal executive council, wherever it is, that they would abide by their risk acceptance criteria, which, as at the time you are drafting it, it seems fine, you give the federal government comfort, but you tie yourself by the leg. Because if part of it is that maybe for you to access that money, you need to have had experience with an IOC, they've tied themselves by the leg. That's why the money is there. So they've not kind of looked with a big granular to see who are the potential customers to design something that is not tied to what they as an institution have agreed to do for every credit that comes to them. So it's a bit of a takeover because for you to go outside your rack, you need to get board approval again, which is not the easiest thing to do. So it depends on the implementing agency, and it also depends on how they design the product. But most of the times, when you're designing impact product or products like this, you need to go beyond a bit beyond what you as a company have determined that you should do for every credit that comes to you. So the advice is uh, these things are stuck at the design phase. So when you are designing it, make sure you're able to identify your potential customers, see the potential shortcomings, and find a way to address them quickly. I'll give you an instance. At BOI, we created a program recently referred to as RAPID, which is the rural kind of access financing. If your business starts the head of is at the state headquarters, or even a major city, not be able to access it. Of course, initially it was tied to Iraq, meaning that nobody in the village was able to access it. Till we had to say, if we intend to be serious about this, we need to move out of that because people in the village will not have this type of documentation you're looking for. They will not have tax receipts, they will not have registration with CAC, all those kind of things. So you need to go beyond that. And immediately those things were corrected, we moved on quite very quickly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ika Wuri. Again, it's to Dr. Wachukwu. My interest is very also focused. There's all the buzz now about the capital fund that's about to. It's in the buzz about the capital fund, and I'm interested because I work in that space and we're trying to get some things done localized now. We have partners who are ready to co-invest with us, but we know that the criteria is that we have to bring some of the money to the table. The PLI, primary level institution, will join us, and yourself, or which you will be on the question, you're one of the PLIs, have this. Then the master will put in the balance of the funds. But we know that you work with consultants, and we want to understand what your structure is to be able to look at what and how to probably collaborate with yourselves in assessing that line. That's my so I just want information on that and how you hope to approach it in a way that makes it something that's achievable.
Okay, thank you very much. Um, that capital fund is almost similar to what she described because I mean around for a while and it's been stuck at massive. We were not really PLW. This is a conversation we just started literally this year to join and to be able to accept the fund to be able to take it out. So I think uh, with the ongoing discussion and negotiation we're going to have, and when it comes under management of BOI, it's going to be much easier. But in terms of being able to access our finances, we have uh, these consultants we refer to as BDSPs, Business Development Service Providers. The idea is that even if you are not able to put together your package or your application, that you can identify any of these people, they will put it together for you at close to no cost. It's actually BOI that pays them at the successful application of your or successful documentation of your application. So the capital fund is still something that is ongoing, but we hope that it will be much easier to implement going forward.
Yeah, the use of those consultant, is that
It's on BOI website actually. So there is a BDSP, Business Development Service Providers. There are over 400 around the country, so you can find the work closest to your street and just call them up.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more questions? Okay, that's a question.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ifunke Bajisige, and it's a pleasure to be here. So my question this morning is also to you, Doctor. You're on the spot. When we talk about finance and you have businesses around, I mean, you are in good news to Nigeria, but a lot of people have been grumbling about accessing, the funds. And I'll quickly give you a scenario. So I have a family who invest in trading fishery, and I think it was a very big news because it's a natural fishing that she's doing. She's doing it well. And then she packaged herself, went to some of the consultants, they put everything together, and a loan money injection was approved for her, but with a progress of a particular kind of collateral. So for many years, she couldn't get that. That was because she had the collateral, but she wasn't able to get the fields from the government. So it was, they kept holding the business down and she wasn't able, but she had a fantastic story.
I agree with you. So at POI, we're probably the only finance institution in the country that if you want to take anything below 10 million, will not ask for collateral. You just need to get the right person to be able to take the loan. But anything above that, no CBN will not allow us to give without collateral. So anything say below 400 million, you can bring maybe legal mortgage, the house, or you can bring uh, bank guarantee for higher funds. Now, I understand that there are businesses that are very viable and they should be able to get a leg up really for them to be able to. So let me give you a story. Those are microcredits below 10 million that we don't require rate per se. MPL is almost sometimes as high as 95%. While the collateralized facilities were being below 2% in MPL. It's a Nigerian thing. Most people don't like to give back. They just see that from their own national king. So we cannot even have the risk doing that. We have to secure our facilities. Now, I understand the situation of your friend. You trust, the person, you can guarantee the person. Fine. And we are also working around this, but our solution is not to start issuing financing without security. We are looking at other things like uh, loan guarantees from external parties. So we'll now be getting invested in your business. So we would be investing, taking shares, taking ownership. The plan to potentially exit some point if we see your business activity
Morning, good afternoon. My name is Peter Parishawe. Thought to ask a question, not to gentlemen, um, to Lagos State Government, our host. Uh, so I think with from our perspective, we've seen that the largest beneficiary when it comes to any transaction is always the government. So if I fund someone before the person even sets up business, is pay taxes at the airport or at the wherever he came in from. Anybody can come in is paying taxes to the staff, paying tax with the salary and all sorts. So while that's understandable because government has to be the largest beneficiary because those are the largest bill that take everybody infrastructure and all sorts. What I was thinking is that is it possible for the state government to I know other countries have the same similar thing, where Lagos State particularly, is it possible for you to earmark certain investments, certain um, transactions like the circular economy? You tell us that if we fund someone, we can offset the bill from our payee tax. That is paying tax directly to your paying. The federal, that's something else. But if the state government has a, if you want people to really fund, right? I'm sure that everybody here will be happy to know that leverage part of their payee tax towards investing. And if it goes good, you the government know that oh, there are more people that pay taxes. But if it doesn't go good, then there's a way to de-risk it to make sure the government not just encourages right, but participate in taking the risk. Is this something that the government is considering or will look at, or like have a pilot? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anshoy. Um, the I think that for us to go the sustainability route, the smartest way to do it is to green our money. And that means that even from the budgetary allocation from source, um, we have talked about MRV, we've talked about how we can begin to measure, how we can report or verify data, as it were. The OCCE is stationed in the Office of the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. And what it means is that for every ministry to get their vote of charge, there's a certain level of criteria that is required for you to report with regards to your expenditure, with your spending. The idea right now, and what we have recommended to the governor for my office is that there should be what you would call not necessarily a bond, a green bond, but a trust fund, like a climate trust fund, right? Such like what we have with the Security Trust Fund, Lagos State Security Trust Fund, which is a PPP arrangement, and you have all of the private sector involved in the running so that there's some level of protection for the security for their operations. So that climate trust fund is housed in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. There is an oversight from the private sector with regards to how we operationalize it. Your ability to access that fund, either from a private sector or from a government agency, is by reporting the level of sustainable components or your ESG components from the design stage, so that every output that is infused into the implementation um, is accredited against social output, your economic development output, and by and large, people can then inherently. The reason why we then sort of decided that was because for us to start to transition our minds away from that usual way of spending, we need to follow the money. And then you coerce people mentally into thinking sustainability, you know. And so once we start to look at our book balance and see that we're greening as much as possible, we have sustainable agriculture, we have climate smart technology, we have, wash
positioning with our hygiene and our sanitation. Our recycling, is as green as possible. We're infusing as much circular economy practices, with all of the tiers within the economy. Then we can begin to capture the tenants and we can begin to verify those nodes against the level of carbon asset management. So it is a conversation. The governor is really open to it because I've done a memo on that. But there are times when you have an idea that is absolutely technically viable, and then you put it into a space, and the political acceptability is a different kettle of fish, because you'll find some people who will come and say, no, this is going to be, for instance, I give you an example. So some of the things that we've done, in terms of advocating for sorting at source, even in homes, we have PSP saying, oh, you are going to reduce the level or the volume of waste that comes onto the truck. Meanwhile, statistics, and clearly so, is saying that we haven't even optimized up to 10% of the waste that is generated in Lagos State in itself. Right? And we also know that the PSPs do not operate in all of the local government areas. There's some areas that are in the interlands that they cannot reach. They do not have the infrastructure to get to those places. But can we demystify what they're raising, their concerns? No. So there are also that stakeholder management aspect that we need to infuse into the solutions. And then there's that organizational implementing structure that we also have to ensure that is in place. So it's massive. It is not insurmountable. It's just that it takes, we just have to go that journey, and it takes a process for us to do that. But I totally agree with you. The best way for us to be able to initiate, acculturate, and institute that mindset, just like digital transformation did, grew by itself, just like, entertainment did by itself. We need to follow the money. We need to get people to commit into deliberate decisions around how they must not only drive economy, but we are at that space where the green economy is here to stay, and it is the functionality of demanding the next way to go.
All right, thank you so much. We put your hands together for her, please. So we don't have any more questions. Oh, okay, that's the last one. That's the last question.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Vanessa, and my question is for the city. So, now I'd like to ask, you spoke about how the government is helping to provide low interest bonds to women and youth, to people in underserved communities. So, from the Lagos Food Bank Initiative, and one of the programs that we run is Family Farm. That's a backyard farming program. And so, I'd like to ask, what measures have you taken in helping women and youth go from the subsistence farming that they do to now becoming a sustainable enterprise? So how have you been able to do that?
Like I said, we deliberately choose initiatives. There are a lot of times when we have these conversations and we try and advocate for that climate friendly behavior, it sounds very abstract, right? And sometimes also when we simulate and we have a show and tell, people are able to add two and two together, and they can then begin to generate their own ideas as their own resilient solutions to adapting to their environment. So for some of the areas that we had activated, for instance, like trade fair for that matter, there were a lot of people who transact business in that place, the communities that surround that area as well, that have seen by themselves that the plastic bottles, the PET bottles, are not the only sources of economic derivative for themselves, that they have some value of exchange in their textile. Their cartons also have, some level of, weight on them. And they're also knowledgeable about their e-waste. And you see that there are a lot of businesses who are in those spaces as well, who would ordinarily or, typically just not adduce any form of value to those things until we brought that to fore. Then, after activation, our conglomerate of businesses, if I can call it that, the EPF, sitting over 500 of these young micro businesses, are then given a brief to be able to address, their visibility in those places as it is close to them in terms of proximity. So for those who collect e-waste in exchange and they use it, for their own commercial activity, or for those who do textile waste, for instance, those locations present an opportunity for us to open a market for them, a market situation, a marketplace for them. And like the BOI mandate has said, yes, I called him mandate, that it's best for us, it's more strategic for us to work with the young businesses because they're not in that space where they want to go industrialize. We want to mop up as many people away from that unemployment bracket into some level of subsistence. So it's the young businesses that we drive, that we facilitate into those markets, that help to be able to scale. Because once we stimulate the demand from the communities, right, we then have them positioned for them to transact business. But there's also an aspect that we're still trying to tie in together. Maybe Sage Grey can help us in that. So we need, the financial institutions, those who understand the modalities and the mechanism of the green economy, right, to be able to, work in tandem with the big financial institutions so that they can provide the funding that would help in the incentivization. Because we cannot eliminate that incentivization aspect to drive the behavior that is needed from the communities. So at the point where, for instance, we have what we call the 80 million clean stove project right now. And that project is also addressing deforestation, clean energy, right? The game changer about this 80 million clean stove, that each unit is worth about 750 euro, is that it is complementary for the beneficiaries. So the vulnerable societies that the clean cook stove are provided for do not only have that stove to be able to ease off the use of firewood, which is degenerating to the health, but they also have incentives of a 10,000 naira pocket money stipend to use on a monthly basis for the next 2 years. Then they have a health insurance policy of about 40,000 naira, adding on to the executive order of the governor for every citizen in Lagos to be able to own a health insurance policy. Then they have an incentive to also plant a tree. So you would see that the nodes that are in those spaces, by the time you capture through technology, and AI is one of the key instruments that we use to measure, to verify, and to report this so that there's as much transparency, it's accountable, that we can, establish as possible. The carbon asset managers that are partnerships on this project itself can, gloat and they can they can use their high shoulders to go into a carbon asset framework for the carbon footprints that are going to be translated for carbon credits. So that's how we want financial institutions to start to think. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we do right now with the financial institutions, look, okay, don't even worry, don't bother about your profits. No need to touch your profits. Look at your CSR. What budgets do you have in your CSR? You can actually begin to ESG your CSR. So it's not just, because that money or that fund was initially designed to give away anyway. But this time around, if you're giving it, you're intentional about the giving. You're capturing the necessary, the active, sustainable, and the climate friendly notes so that in effect, there's a return on your ESG. So these are the little areas, but they need to be properly fine-tuned. For the communities, they just need to be aware that it's not business as usual with their waste anymore. That there are so many things that, for instance, if we had a trade fair, understand that their organic waste is capable of translating into a solar farm for them. Do you know how much megawatts they can generate off the grid, for that community? So there's still so much in, the knowledge and, the literacy, but also, because we're not altruistically driven like that in this country, we must look at the economic benefits for the communities.
Any more questions, but I'll just have my panelists give 30 seconds parting shots on the way forward for advancing the impact. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity. I was going to just say to her that you're in the right place. Madam, I, yes, for you. You're in the right place. What you requested is exactly what we're here for. At Sacred, we already have certain motivating factors for people that want to scale. Accessible and cheap funding, and then work with you to ensure that you are aligned with ESG goals and the SDGs also. So for the way forward, for us at SageGrade, this is we're walking the talk. We ensure that we keep aligning, we keep educating, and we do what we say we're here to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we ruled out some of the things that we're doing at the OCCE. And I do understand that, from the polity to the government, there's that misappropriated mistrust in there. But I also feel that it's also important that we work together. There's a need for us to begin to develop that open-mindedness, so that we can go the long haul together as a government entity. It's not necessarily the needful to understand the face behind the work. It's more expedient to be able to accept the work that is being done. And this is my plea, that for strong advocates, people with voices, organizations like this, that we need to be more abreast, more ready to, research and find out what is going on. Just like Mr. Washiwe said, that the government is really, truly at the helm of things. And yes, we get the benefits in terms of tax, but there's also a role for the communities to play. I always say that there are areas and some industries where before the policies come in, the activities should have the role and the activities should have rolled out, should have, it should have precipitated before then. And I think that the green economy presents that sort of opportunity because our waste is accessible to us. The things that we generate in the home are accessible to us that we can transact commerce with. And so let's be more open-minded. Let's research more. Let's be a propagator of the green economy because there's still so much for us to be able to do in that space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man.
So for me, I would just say that there are too many financial institutions around. We're tired of financial institutions. Business owners want financial partners. So BOI and other financial institutions emulate what Sigwe is doing, be a financial partner. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just say that if you are running an impact business, you should come to BOI. There is certainly something that is there in BOI for you. And to make things even better, our new strategic plan, we identify 6 thematic areas which we want to focus on to really drive impact. And they include gender-focused businesses, youth-focused businesses, MSME, climate-focused businesses, infrastructure, and digital. So if you're in any of this space, you are more likely than not to get attention of BOI if you approach us. So we look forward to it.
We can say that we should adopt a structured reporting. It's what's happening here is laudable. There is a lot to learn. I've learned quite a lot here today. So there are a lot of areas that have not been explored that people need to know about. So I think this type of program should continue to educate people more of endless possibilities that are bound. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We hope that you found this panel not just insightful, but we hope that your questions were answered. Once again, please put your hands together for our brilliant panelists. Well, put your hands together for me. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Content journalist. I work with Business Day. Thank you so much.
So please, before you leave the stage, please stay for a moment. We need to take photographs of our panelists. Interesting conversation, I would say. Or was it interesting? If it was interesting, let me hear you make some noise. That's loud enough now. That have to collect back to that sound. Okay, let's try it one more time. If you know you're proud to be part of the Sage Grey journey, let me hear you say Sage Grey for impact. Never loud enough now. But never true. Let's do it one more time. Sage Grey for impact. Fantastic. A round of applause once again for Sage Grey finally. Right. So we're gradually moving to our next segment, which is community partner and client testimonials. So this is one of the most meaningful ways to grasp the impact of what we do at Sage Grey Finance, and is hearing directly from those who have benefited from our support. So up next, we'll be sharing a collection of heartfelt testimonials from our valued community partners and clients. And these voices go beyond numbers. They tell the stories of growth, collaboration, and of course, innovation and lasting transformation. So to begin with, we will show you a short video that captures the broader impact of Sage Grey Finance as told by the people at the heart of our journey. So just for a few minutes, and we'll be back.
Recycle is a waste recycling and manufacturing company which specializes in the recycling of waste materials such as tires, plastics, and glass into reusable and purposeful products suitable for all industrial, commercial, and residential settings. The company, with the help of Sage Grey Finance, has been able to recycle over 250,000, preventing 2,500 MT of CO2 emissions. My name is Ifedola Boroshowe, the founder and managing director of Free Recycle Limited, an integrated recycling and manufacturing company that has gained international recognition by contributing to solving the problem of waste tires in Nigeria. It is our goal and intention that through our operations can demonstrate that recycling tires is a sustainable approach to dealing with problems like openly burning tires in Nigeria, among others. As a company, we began our operations in 2021 and As of today, we operate on a 2.5 hectare facility that we fully own and where we have recycled around 300,000 discarded tires, utilizing them in the production of our range of products. We've used discarded tires in producing flooring solutions like mats and interlocking pavers, as well as other items like marine fenders for boats and ships, expansion joints for building bridges, and very recently, flip-flops our way into the sustainable fashion industry. Most obviously, using discarded tires in making valuable items has had a direct impact on the volume of tires that end up being burned openly and tires that get sent to dump sites. We are also proud to note the contributions that recycling tires makes towards meeting sustainable development goals, as our operation contributes most importantly to climate action as we prevent CO2 emissions and promote responsible consumption and production. We've been able to create more than 150 direct employment opportunities for the residents of Akwata Ibadan. And this has contributed to improving the local economy and making some contribution to the standard of living for our staff, as well as their direct and indirect dependents. Sage Gray's extensive experience in the financial sector has been invaluable. Their team has provided us with strategic guidance on business planning, scaling operations, and navigating investment opportunities. This has helped us make informed decisions and grow sustainably. They've also provided access to valuable industry data and research on the growing markets for sustainable products. This insight has helped us refine our product offerings, marketing strategies to better cater to the needs of eco-conscious consumers. By going beyond the traditional financing relationship, Sage Gray has become a true strategic partner. Their expertise, network, and shared values allow us to maximize our impact while achieving our financial goals. SageGray's investment in Free was crucial to the research and development phase of our journey. This phase could not have been made possible without SageGray, as the research and development process that has led to the success of our product today is indeed a capital intensive venture. The very existence of Free as a company would have been very different without the faith Sage Grey had in Free Recycle's vision. Sage Grey's expertise is currently helping us to implement a comprehensive long-term growth plan. This includes exploring new markets, expanding our product lines, and potentially venturing into other sustainable waste management solutions, including items like steel and PET bottles. SageGrid can also set the tone for other financial institutions to adopt impact financing by setting down a forward-thinking framework that can be widely adopted for discussion and implementation across the financial services sector. Loma Spector Limited is an indigenous oil and gas logistics services company which specializes in alternative evacuation of crude oil in Nigeria.
My name is Adesoye Olatunde. I'm the managing director of Loma Spector Limited. Loma Spector Limited specializes in alternative evacuation and transportation of crude oil in Nigeria. Our company acts as a partner to clients in the oil and gas industry by supplying vessels and marine support services for petroleum products, fueling, bunkering, storage, and distribution. Through our operations, we have successfully increased efficiency and reliability in crude oil and petroleum products transportation, reduce operational costs for oil companies, improve safety standards, and minimize environmental risk associated with traditional methods such as pipelines. Loma Spector has played a significant role in job creation and business opportunities, contributing to the socio-economic development of the Niger Delta region. Sage Finance has been integral to our success story, offering invaluable business advisory services and facilitating debt financing. You played a pivotal role in developing the business ideas over several iterations, building the concepts, engaging early stage stakeholders, developing a viable business case, and crafting a comprehensive user and investment pitch book. It was quite a delightful experience. Our vision is to be the global market leader in oil and gas logistics service. We aim to build a world-class, reliable oil and gas logistics solution that is focused on continuously delivering in an effective and efficient manner and rates to meet our clients' quality and timely expectations. On environmental sustainability, we intend to set new standards for responsible crude oil transportation in Nigeria, promoting pollution-free alternative crude evacuation services. We aim to invest in research and development initiatives focused on enhancing our fleet with eco-friendly vessels and implementing innovative solutions for waste management and pollution prevention. Additionally,
SPL Torogu is an indigenous oil and gas company that has developed a gas processing facility in Nigeria in collaboration with the Nigerian Content Monitoring and Development Board, NCPMB, for the development of a 200 MMS CFD gas processing facility in Otorogu, Delta State.
SPL Utorogu Limited is an indigenous oil and gas company which focuses on the processing of natural gas into LPG, propane, and condensate. SPL Utorogu is a joint venture set up by Southfield Petroleum Limited and the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. Our business strategy is fully aligned with the federal government's initiative to boost the gas sector and establish it as a commercially viable industry, both locally and internationally. Our gas processing facility also has the capacity to produce 420,000 metric tons, accounting for over 10% of Nigeria's annual LPG consumption. This not only positions us as a key player in the gas sector, but also underscores our commitment in reducing gas flaring, pollution, and promoting the development of valuable gas products such as LPG for domestic and commercial uses. In addition, our contribution to the gas sector, our operations have the potential to create over 5,000 job opportunities, both directly and indirectly, while generating over 100 ancillary businesses, including trucking, logistics, and related industries. SageGray Finance Limited has played a central role in the operations of SPL Utorogu Limited. They were instrumental in development of all our project documentations, including concept plans, business proposals, business plans, and investment schedule, among others. SageGray Finance provided funding and facilitated additional financing with other stakeholders, ensuring the financial viability of our project. One notable achievement was securing the collaboration and partnership of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board in our gas processing project, for which SageGray Finance developed all the necessary documentation and contracts, leading to equity financing from NCBM. Their profound understanding of project finance structures, risk management practices, and regulatory requirements enabled us to negotiate favorable terms and secure the necessary funding to execute our strategic plans effectively. Additionally, SageGray Finance played a crucial role in helping the company achieve strong corporate governance practices, ensuring compliance and accountability across all levels of our operations and beyond.
SageGray Technologies is a technology provider creating impact by developing and deploying practical and sustainable solutions across various sectors.
SageGray Finance Limited has been instrumental in providing financial backing for our technology ideation and advancement efforts. For instance, they have facilitated access to capital for research and development initiatives, enabling us to explore new technologies, enhance our existing products, and innovate in various areas of our business. Additionally, SageGray Finance Limited has supported us through tailored financial solutions that address our specific needs, such as project financing and venture capital investment. For example, in 2021, SageGray Finance gave us our first seed investment of $250,000 in one of our tech products and continue to provide business development and social governance advisory services to us till date. Without financial support from SageGray Finance Limited, some of our most ambitious technology projects would have been difficult to pursue. We have successfully developed a total of 4 products since 2021. And one of them is an internal product, a customer care software called Unkiro Software. Through our fundings, we were able to take calculated risks, experiment with cutting edge technologies, and push the boundaries of innovation within our industry. Sainsbury Finance Limited has empowered us to explore new avenues of growth and stay ahead of the curve in a rapidly evolving technological landscape.
Musab's Enterprise is a dynamic and innovative fashion retail company specializing in the sale of high quality bags and shoes. With a strong online presence and a physical store in Abuja, Nigeria, Musab Enterprises has emerged as a trusted destination for fashion enthusiasts seeking stylish and trend-setting accessories.
I am Mrs. Moturari Abiodun, the founder of Mosep Enterprise. Mosep Enterprise specializes in retailing top quality fashion bags, shoes, and other fashion accessories. Mosep Enterprise was born out of my passion for fashion and has evolved into a business venture. Mosep Enterprise has two missions, which I would say that the first one is to enhance individual style and confidence through the products that we sell. The second mission that Muslim Enterprise has is to create job opportunities within our operations, supporting economic growth and even women empowerment. During the early stages of my business, I operated from my home due to financial and limited capital and then lack of financial, investments. And then I wanted to expand, I wanted to grow, I wanted my mission, my vision to be brought to light. So I approached Sage Grey for financing. This has helped me significantly to increase my inventory. And with the support of Sage Grey, financing this business, financing this dream, I have transitioned from the small space in my home to a physical store. Now, being in a physical store in a prime location in Abuja, this has resulted in tremendous increase of sales revenue, jumping from an average of 100,000 naira a day when I was in my house to about 1.5 million naira in one day. As I imagine SME in the fashion and retail sector, most of the enterprise, of course, we aim to grow and innovate. Very important within the fashion retail industry. Our plans, I would say, includes expanding our product offering, strengthening our online presence, which would play a significant role also in our offline presence, and exploring opportunities for global expansion. With the continued support of partners like Sage Grey and our dedicated team, we are confident to achieve even greater success in the times ahead.
All right, a round of applause for Sage Grey Finance. Thank you all so much. So we still have one more story to share, and I will quickly invite to the stage the proprietor of Morit International School, who will be sharing the school rather. Let me quickly give you a brief. The school is a plastic for tuition model, a system that allows parents with limited means to pay school fees using PET bottles or cash. So I'll be inviting once again the proprietor of Morit International School, Mbamara Patrick, to come on stage and share with us the remarkable journey of how Sage Grey Finance has played a role in making it possible. Please put your hands together as he comes on stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Mbamara. I'm a proprietor of Moritz International School. Moritz International School is a school for underserved communities or children from families that are not really doing well financially. We have a story, and I don't want to bore you with our story, but while we started Moritz 2010, had a closure due to financial things and all that. Came back 2013. And from 2013 to 2024, Sage Grey came in. We are so thankful that our story and Sage Grey's story is met, and let me put it that way. We over time we started with preschool. From preschool we moved into primary, junior secondary, and secondary. Currently, currently we the story of accepting plastic bottles or other recyclables came into when we discovered that we or our parents could not afford collect and paying their school fees on time or even withdrawing due to no money to pay school fees. So I am a trained chemical engineer. So I thought about how do I in 2018 I thought about how do I get parents in school fees. So in our own locality, because I grew up in Nigeria, I was born there, I grew up there. So I saw plastics bottles, cartons melting in the rain. I was like, this is money and okay, let me see what I can do. Then I went to partnership with one ACI. So we had a parent a PTA meeting, spoke to them. We were at the end of the day, we were able to um, carry our parents along. Long story short, where we are today. Where we are today, we're doing very well. We're trying to advance and make our curriculum stronger and better. Even make it something that that will be competitive in with other schools in Lagos State and maybe every other part Nigeria. So that's our story. I went through the magazine or the brochure. What was written there about us was not really. It is so little that to compare to what Sage Grey has done for us. I don't think it not captured on that brochure. We've been giving financial assistance so many times. The sandals for the students were brought to school. We are so happy now. For when I was coming to this place, I told them I'll be coming here and we were all happy. Those I did not get sandals were still on my neck. They are still on my neck. So it's a big family and we hope as is what we are doing, we are giving education to these children that can't really afford them naturally. And at the same time, we are contributing in reducing the carbon footprint on planet Earth. And I know that with more support and partnership with Sage Grey, we'll do more. We'll conquer more. Thank you so much.
Apologies for the break in transmission. Please put your hands once more for Mr. Patrick Mbamara to get some facts. All right, so I just want to invite one more person to share a brief story. Just have just about 2 minutes, and let me quickly invite MRCF to share her story on the impact finance from Sage Grey. So please put your hands together as they come on stage. Just short time to do that. Am I seeing the person? Okay, please put your hands together to come.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay, so Momirama MRCF is my name is Ronkan Shete. Momirama MRCF is an orphanage home that is situated in Kaduna. Presently, we have 5 children who have been displaced as a result of insurgency. They've had their parents killed. Some of the mothers have a teenage pregnancy and they've abandoned the children. We have 25 children right now, and we are direct beneficiaries of this impact financing from Sage Grey. Thank you very much. So the finance has helped us to afford medicals for the children. So the money comes every month, and we're able to offset our bills, directly to our doctor. If you have 25 children in a home, and I mean, what can be when one catches a cold, everybody, catches it as well. So Sage Grey has been very helpful in helping us to settle medical bills that are very crucial for the children. We are very thankful, and like Oliver Twist, of course, we are asking for more. Thank you very much. God bless you.
But please, please put your hand one more time. Thank you so much, Ma, for sharing your story with us. I can tell Sage Grey Finance has done a lot for communities and people all around. So now we've come to a truly special moment, which is at the heart of what we do at Sage Grey Finance. We will be seeing the real impact of our work, stories of lives changed, businesses supported, and of course, communities empowered. And we're not stopping there. We're also excited to also unveil our new set of impact-driven initiatives focused on women and youth empowerment, community development, and SME financing. Won't you put your hands together for that? Thank you. So to take us into this powerful segment, please welcome a passionate voice in sustainability and innovation, an associate at Sage Grey Finance Limited, Dumebi Okeke, to give us more on this. Clap together for him as he comes.
Starting with the existing protocols, let me just say thank you to everybody who showed up here today. I'm just going to go straight to it. So my name is Dumebi Okeke. I'm a project finance associate with Sage Grey Finance. And I am very honored to share the insightful ways that we've been able to impact the communities that we are forced to serve. Um, as an impact finance firm, we remain very committed to a model of responsible finance that balances both social impact and then financial return. Of course, we spoke about it already. Yeah, we look at this reflects our core value as a business, and it helps us build a more equitable, more sustainable society. And in 2024 alone, I'm just going to show you some of the things that we were able to do. In the education space, we were able to work with Tender Cradle Schools and then Victoria Island Secondary School. We were able to work with Lagos Food Bank Initiative as well to provide solutions to learning related hunger. For health, sorry, we worked alongside the Sickle Cell Foundation and Link Shore Cancer Center, and we did this in an effort to raise awareness for cancer research, and then the availability of treatments. For the environmental front, we were able to work with people like Loma. We were able to appreciate the street cleaners, and then we were able to work with people like LastPack as well on a tree planting project. So this was it's just a snapshot. The presentation goes forward to show all the things that we were able to do at that time. But this kind of provides a small snapshot of the things we were able to achieve in the last year. And for community development, we were able to work with part of the solution orphanage. It's a little place in Makoko where we were able to bring a little bit of impact, at least a little bit of good news, a little bit of hope to the children that we met there. So in addition to the corporate social responsibility, these efforts reflect the personal passion of our staff because these programs were actually staff-led. It was not the company that we did it ourselves. Personal commitment and personal passion that our staff has at the core of our motivation. And together we believe that we are building a more than just a financial value. We're actually going forward to build a legacy of purpose. And we're happy to invite them to join us as we go. So thank you. Without breaking a step, we'll just go forward and announce the launch of our new product. So, like the MC has already gone ahead to say, we'll be launching 3 new categories of products that attend to 3 broad customer groups. The very first, the Sage Green Catalyst, is more directed towards women and youth empowerment. The second is the growth engine, the SME growth engine, which is it's in the name, it's directed towards SME. There was a lady who spoke up here talking about access to financing for her business. My other boss already said you're in the right place. So we'll be happy to speak with you after the session is over. And then the last is the Community Empowerment Fund, the CEF. So the Community Empowerment Fund allows us to give grants that are geared towards community development programs. So for the first of it is the Women and Youth Empowerment Fund. This we are giving out a blend of structured grants, loans, and a bit of mentorship, a bit of advisory on our part that helps women, youth. The eligibility is usually just for women or youth, people between 18 and 35, and people within this description that have business ideas that they would like to bring to the front. So we are able to give them structured financing that helps bring these ideas that they have to the front. And we have 3 tiers under which this particular program operates. The very first is the Horizon. This is more focused towards women. The Horizon Seed Grants. Under this grant, we're able to give somewhere between 500,000 to 2 million naira to people who are looking to set up or start up businesses. The second is the Next Gen Accelerator Program. Now, the Next Gen focuses more on the youth. And again, we're able to give grants, we're able to give loans, depending on what the funding requirement for the business is. And then finally, we have the innovation and then the leadership workshop, for which we invite the people that we have mentioned previously into. So leveraging on our abilities as advisory services provider, we can offer legal advisory, we can offer financial and strategy services advisory to these people. So please, the next, the SME growth engine. Now, for the SME's growth engine, we are quite proud to know that POI, POI is one of our stakeholders, and they've been able to offer us some extent of financing through which we are able to offer very attractive 9% per annum loans to SME. But under this SME growth engine, we are able to offer working capital financing, we are able to offer asset financing, we are able to do invoice discounting for our customers depending on how they will need it. So again, the beneficiaries, you must be a business registered in Nigeria, you must be an SME. I think the government classifies SMEs as businesses with turnover less than 50 million. So if you fall into that category, then definitely we can speak to you, help you structure a product that works, and then build your facility. The tiers of the products that go under the MSME growth engine. The very first is the Elevate SME program. So this we offer flexible capital loans, STEM loans, invoice discounting facilities. The next is the flexible collateral option, because it's something that even POI went forward to mention that depending on how much you want to give somebody as a facility, one of the very touchy topics for them to talk about is how the facility is going to be secured. For a lot of people, they would rather just take your loan and then before we take it out the conversation of financing. But as Stage Green Finance, we are licensed, regulated by Central Bank, and Central Bank is really help us do that. But we are able to work very closely with you in finding alternatives, ways that work, so that you can go ahead, do your business, create the value that you've set out to create, and then help us achieve our goal of creating impact as well, without compromising on our commitment to safety for our capital as well. And then finally, we have the Sage Scale Accelerator Program. Again, this all leverages on our abilities as advisors. So we are able to offer financial services, strategy services, legal to our potential clients on this. And then finally, we have the Community Empowerment Fund. Now, the Community Empowerment Fund is almost entirely grant funded. Now, we understand that processes of giving the government a loan, it's quite tricky. So it's easier to just, leave that for the big boys like BOR to handle. But for the community empowerment fund, we're able to give up to one, maybe 2 million naira to communities on grant basis for them to either initiate or develop impactful products that impactful projects that they will be able to deploy within their communities. Now, one of the things that we mentioned very insistently right from the beginning of this program was our fixation on making sure that we get financial returns as well as social impact returns. In this case, while we might not be able to go ahead and ask for financial returns on the grant, we are very strict with how we measure the impact. So if we give you funds, for example, if we give a community funds to develop a water bomb project or a healthcare project, we are very, very fastidious on how we intend to measure it. We stay very close to the sources or to the people that we are working with and make sure that the reporting is extremely, very, very accurately done. So these are the three products that we're launching today. For more information, for people who will be interested in them, for the Women and the Youth Empowerment Fund, for the MSME Fund, as well as the Community Development Fund, we are around. I think most of us are here. You can speak with us, and we'll be able to get you on board. Please get you started on this journey of impact with us. So, thanks again once more to everybody who's come here, and have a great day.
Thank you, Brandon, once again. Please put your hand one more time for Mr. Tolobino Quickly for giving us insights into why we're here. And it seems we've finally come to the end, almost to the end of today's event, and that is now to deliver the vote of thanks. And so, as we begin to wind down today's event, it's only right that we take a moment now to, well, express our heartfelt appreciation because I understand we've been here for some hours, since 10, and this is 1. We've tried our best to keep it quick and short, I would say. Please put your hand one more time for yourselves for being a part of today's event. Thank you so much for being with us. So we've shared ideas, we've seen impact, we've felt the passion that drives the work we do at Sage Grey Finance. None of this would have been possible, of course, without your time, energy, and of course, commitment to being part of this journey. And to deliver formally our vote of thanks and on behalf of the entire Sage Grey family, please welcome the Managing Director of Sage Grey Finance Limited, a visionary leader, driving force behind many of the impactful strides we've seen today, Mr. Temitope Rushewe. Is he here? Okay, I think the ED is coming on instead to take this in his place. Please put your hands together as it comes on stage.
Thank you very much. I hope we have taken out a thing or two about impact and impact financing and impact investment today. Our esteemed guests, our partners, and our very dear beloved staff. Before I go ahead to deliver the vote of thanks, I'd like to resound our 3 convictions at Sage Grey, and I'd like everybody to take that away from here today. The first is that there cannot be sustainable commercial viability without the accommodation of impact. Second is impact and financial returns are not mutually exclusive. And the third is the greater the impact achieved, the higher the potential for commercial returns. I'd like all of us to hold that with us as we depart from here today. And having said that, I want to express our most sincere and profound appreciation to everybody that came here today, that has taken out from their precious time in the city of Lagos to join us in our way forward. Sage Grey Finance, way forward, advancing impact. I would like to say a big thank you on behalf of the board, on behalf of my managing director, and on behalf of all staff of Sage Grey. We want to thank you so very much for being here with us. And like my colleague has rightly said, anybody interested in starting any conversations with us, we're just around the corner here. We have a number of products that he has rolled out, so please do well to visit any of our staff members to initiate conversations that will take you on the journey with us. I pray that as we depart from here, get to our various destinations safely, and I pray that we'll all increase even as we continue to deliver impact in our environment. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much. Please put your hand one more time for the Executive Director of State Trade Finance, Mr. Dejumo Adetuba. Thank you so much. And so, like he said, we've come to the end of today's program, and so we will now have to have our closing prayer. And to lead us into that is Mr. Ben Woke, General Secretary, Finance Houses of Association of Nigeria. And may we all stand as we take our prayer.
Let's rise on our feet. Our Father and our Lord, we thank you. We bless you for your grace, for the presence of mind, for your breath, for our sustenance, for your impact in our lives. Thank you for bringing us together for this auspicious event. Thank you for where you brought us grain. Thank you for the impact they are making in the lives of people, social impact, and the economic impact in businesses. Thank you for advancing their businesses. And thank you for the ideas that we share here that will move us and the enterprise to the next level. We ask for the enabling grace as they look forward, doing greater exploits in business. And thank you for all of us that come here with all our ideas and ambitions. And as we collaborate with Say Great to move all our interests forward. Thank you, Lord, for life and for the enabling grace to do much more contribution to the society. To bless and honor you. As we depart, we commit our lives, our business very and that you take us home safely in Jesus' name. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Praise the Lord.
Let's clap for Jesus. Thank you, God. All right, like we said, we've come to the end of today's program. And so we can all step out. Our lunch is served, it's out. We can take our lunch. And also for group photograph, we can all get outside too. There's a backdrop outside where we can all take some photographs to serve as a memory for the event so far. Once again, I'd like to thank you all and God bless you all. Thank you so much. That's the best time. You go down that to I agree.
I wasn't there. So you look out and do what you do. This is serious. I said that I've been saying it. Wait, it's my turn. Wait. I said it before I said about it's here that you would be it's interesting. Right? Sorry, madam.